using number of test cases, collection of test cases. That collection of test cases is called test suite. దాన్ని మనం టెస్ట్ సూట్ అంటాం. ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ టెస్ట్ చేయడానికి విల్ బి యూజింగ్ నంబర్ ఆఫ్ టెస్ట్ కేసెస్. ఈ టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ అన్నిటిని కలిపి ఒక సూట్ అంటాం. దాన్ని టెస్ట్ సూట్ అంటాం. సో వీ హ్యావ్ టు మేనేజ్ దిస్ టెస్ట్ సూట్. ఇట్ షుడ్ నాట్ గ్రో. సాధ్యమైనంత వరకు ఉన్న టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ తోటి మనం ఆప్టిమల్గా టెస్ట్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళాలి. సో టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ ఎన్ని అన్లిమిటెడ్ టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు జనాలు. దేర్ షుడ్ బి లిమిట్ ఆఫ్ లిమిట్ టు సైజ్ ది టెస్ట్ సూట్. కొంత సైజ్ వరకు పెట్టి ఆపేసేయాలి. టెస్ట్ సూట్ షల్ నాట్ గ్రో. సో దట్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి డన్ ఎఫిషియెంట్లీ. దట్ ఫినామినా ఇస్ కాల్డ్ ఎఫిషియెంట్ టెస్ట్ సూట్ మేనేజ్మెంట్. సో లెట్ us see the reasons why does a test suite grow. టెస్ట్ సూట్ ఎందుకు పెరుగుతూ ఉంది ప్రతిసారి? We'll see the reasons. So testing criteria, let us see the definition of testing criteria. It is a collection of rules that impose requirements on test cases. Testing criteria for what we are testing. Suppose we are testing the calculator program. The requirement for the test case is to verify the addition operation. The requirement for the test case is to verify the subtraction operation. So that is the testing criteria. That is one point we need to understand. Testing criteria refers to collection of rules that impose requirements on test cases. Second point, coverage. Coverage in the sense, to what extent this criterion is satisfied. Suppose we have developed a test case to verify the addition process. To what extent the addition process is being covered by the test case. మనం ప్రిపేర్ చేసిన టెస్ట్ కేసు ఎంత మేరకు అడిషన్ ప్రాపర్టీని టెస్ట్ చేస్తుంది. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ కవరేజ్. Someone has joined. So to what extent that test case has met the requirement of testing the property is called coverage. And then partial coverage. See, the collection of test cases, to what extent all the requirements of the product are satisfied. So for example, we have developed the test suite for the calculator program. To what extent the percentage of requirements that are satisfied by the test suite or the test case is called partial coverage. Konni properties satisfy chesinది అనుకోండి, that it is partially covering the requirements అంటాం. Test requirements, these are the specific things that must be satisfied or covered. So we must test the addition property, we must test the subtraction property, we must test the division property. So these are the test requirements. And then we need to decide on a point where to stop the testing process. That is called coverage criteria. So this is used as a stopping point to decide when a program is sufficiently tested. So for example, we would have tested it for 5 times with 5 different inputs. At one point we should get satisfied and stop testing the corresponding property. That is called coverage criteria. Next. So apart from this, test suites are reusable. Once we have designed the test cases, we can reuse it a number of times. The tests account for as much as 1/2 of the cost of software maintenance. Tomorrow, after deploying the software, the cost of testing will be as half as the cost of total maintenance. Low tests perform cheyadaniki we would be performing 50. We would be incurring 50% of the cost. Moreover, test cases may be redundant. So the reasons for enhancing enhancement of the size of the test suites is the test cases within the product. The test cases within the test suite may be repeated. Redundant test cases may be designed by the tester. Maybe due to the ignorance of the tester, or maybe change in roles of the testers. A change in the program may cause a test case obsolete. Sometimes what happens, We might perform certain change in our program based on the customer's requirement, but there will be test cases that already test the property which is changed. That test case may become obsolete or useless. In that case, we have to remove that test case. Otherwise, it will be present in our test suite. Tomorrow, for the corresponding change, we will be preparing new test case again that enhances the size of the test suite. So that is why we say redundant and obsolete test cases may increase the size of the test suite. Repeated test cases ఉండొచ్చు, sometimes unused test cases ఉండొచ్చు. ఈ రెండింటి వల్ల మన టెస్ట్ సూట్ పెరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. So efficient test suite management involves the cutting down of the repeated test suites and cutting down or eliminating the obsolete or unused test cases in the test suite. So that is the that is where we see the growth in the test suites. So what we have to minimize this test suite, because if there are number of test cases in the test suite, we may not end up with maximum coverage. We have to limit the number of test cases in the test suite, minimize the test cases so that they are executed for maximum coverage. We have to reduce the number of test cases in the test suite, and these minimum test cases have to cover the entire requirements of the product or the testing process. Moreover, if there are a number of test cases to test our program, it might incur good amount of time. That time also have to be reduced. In order to achieve that, we have to reduce the number of test cases. If the release date is very near for us, if the release date of the product is near to us, in that case we have to select the appropriate test cases and test the product. Sometimes we might be having limited staff to execute all the test cases. In that case also, we cannot execute all the test cases. We have to select the appropriate test cases and perform the testing activity. And sometimes we might not be having equipment or the physical resource to test the product. So in that case also, we have to select the appropriate and minimize the తక్కువ టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ తోటి ఎక్కువ కవరేజ్ వచ్చేలాగా తీసుకోవాలి. Sometimes we may not also be able to have the testing tools also. So in such case also, we have to minimize the test cases. ఎందుకు మినిమైజ్ చేయాలి? We have to minimize the test cases due to lack of time, lack of staff, lack of physical resources. Because of these three reasons, we have to minimize the test suites. Now, what benefits we have for minimizing the test suite? Mana test suite minimize chesam. What are the benefits we have? If we minimize the test suite, the redundant test cases will be eliminated. Whatever the test cases we have repeatedly present in the test suite, those will be minimized. This lowers the cost by reducing the test suite to a minimal subset. The amount that we spend on the test suite development will be minimal. Moreover, decreases the overhead of maintaining the test suite. So if the test cases are less in number, tomorrow maintaining the test suite will be far easier. ఒక 10 టెస్ట్ కేసులు ఉంటే ఈజీ, కానీ 100 టెస్ట్ కేసులు ఉంటే ఇట్ విల్ బి డిఫికల్ట్ ఫర్ అస్ టు మెయింటైన్, బికాస్ చేంజ్ ఇన్ ది సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ప్రోడక్ట్ విల్ ఫోర్స్ అస్ టు చేంజ్ ది టెస్ట్ కేస్. ఒక టెస్ట్ కేసు మారిందంటే దాని నుంచి నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ కూడా మారాల్సి వస్తుంది. అదే తక్కువ టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ ఉన్నాయనుకోండి, వీ కెన్ limited number of changes will be there, and the cost of regression testing also would be reduced. Previously, we have seen regression testing a product again with the selected test cases from the existing test suite. Now, what is the actual test minimization problem? For example, we have a test suite TS, a set of test case requirements R1, R2, R3 and so on Rn. ఈ రిక్వైర్మెంట్స్ని బట్టి మనం టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ తయారు చేసాం, T1, T2, T3. That must be satisfied to provide the desired testing coverage of the program, and subsets of TS. The subsets of the test suite are T1, T2, T3 and so on Tn. One associated with each of the requirement. T1 is associated with R1, T2 is associated with R2, T3 is associated with R3, and Tn is associated with the requirement Rn, such that any one of the test cases Tj belonging to Ti can be used to test Ri. So we have to create a new test suite TJ, new test suite TI, such that వీటిలో ఉన్న టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ కొన్ని తీసుకుంటే ఈ రిక్వైర్మెంట్స్ అన్నిటిని సాటిస్ఫై అయ్యేలాగా మనం ఒక టెస్ట్ సూట్ని ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయాలి. సో దట్ ఈస్ we have to find a representative set of test cases from TS that satisfies all the requirements RI. We have to select the appropriate test cases from this test suite, form a new test suite that satisfies all the requirements. That is, we are minimizing the టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ ఇన్ దిస్ టెస్ట్ సూట్. వీటిలో కొన్ని బయటికి తీసుకొని ఈ కొన్ని ఏదైతే తీసుకున్నామో దోస్ హ్యావ్ టు సాటిస్ఫై ఆల్ ది రిక్వైర్మెంట్స్ R1 to Rn here. And this is the problem of test suite minimization. So for that, the first criteria is we have to prioritize the test cases. What are the important test cases? Rank the test cases in the order. So what rank we'll give? Priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, and priority 4. So we'll rank the test cases in the given test suite TS. First form చేసిన test suite లో ఆ test cases ని మనం ranking ఇచ్చుకుంటే వెళ్తాం. When we'll give rank 1, the test cases must be executed. Otherwise, there may be worse consequences after the release of the product. First test cases, if we don't execute this test case, execute చేయకుండా ఉంటే if at all the problem persists in the program లో problem ఉంటే కనుక we will see the worst consequences of the product. So we'll have huge loss if we don't test the corresponding test case for the requirement. So that will be ranked as priority 1. Second, we will consider the test cases if we have time లేదనుకోండి ఇవి ఇగ్నోర్ చేయొచ్చు. priority 2 test cases ని ఇగ్నోర్ చేయొచ్చు. The test cases may be executed if time permits. Next, priority 3, the test case is not important prior to the current release. ఇప్పుడున్న as of now these are not important, but in due course of time for the next release or the next version these are important. Those will be ranked as priority 3. And priority 4, negligible, never important. The test cases are not important because if we leave it also, the impact will be less or even negligible. So based on the experience of the tester, developer, or the person who designs the test cases, he will rank the test cases with 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, very important test case. 2, if time permits, we will execute. 3, for now they might not be important, but in future we might consider. Rank 4, the impact will be negligible. For if we ignore the test, the impact will be negligible. We will prioritize the test cases in the test suite with these ranks. Now, 2 types of prioritization are there: general test case prioritization and version specific test case prioritization. So first one, general test case prioritization. Prioritize the test cases that will be useful over a succession of subsequent modified versions of P. So general test case, now we will test cases will be prioritized based on whether they will be useful for the modified versions of the product. So we might change the product. Change in product ki evaithe test cases important, those will be considered with the general test case prioritization. Can be performed following the release of the program version. After release of the program version, we can consider the general test case prioritization. Then the second one is version specific prioritization. Version specific test case prioritization, where we prioritize the test cases such that they will be useful on specific version P1 of P. So we have modified the P to P1. Whatever changes that we have made for P1, those test cases will be given priority. This is performed after a set of changes that have been made from P, that have been made to P, and prior to regression testing P1. P నుంచి P1కి ఏదైతే మాడిఫై చేశామో ఆ మాడిఫై చేసినవి ఏదైతే టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ని ఎఫెక్ట్ అవుతాయో దోస్ షల్ బి గివెన్ ప్రయారిటీ. హియర్ జనరలీ modified versions in generic after the release of newer versions we can come out with prioritization, but here specifically we will target the change, that is the version specific prioritization. So at two levels we can perform prioritization, can be done at two levels. One is considering the regression test suite, second one considering the system test suite. Regression test suite in the sense, whenever we talk about regression, it is testing already tested product based. Why we will test it again? Because we might be performing certain changes. So prioritization for a regression test suite, this is based on changes in the software. Prioritization for a systems test suite, this is based on risk analysis, user feedback, and fault detection rule, etc. So the techniques for prioritization are, so we have seen two types of prioritization in Bhavin. General test case prioritization, version specific test case prioritization. Techniques for prioritization are coverage based test case prioritization, risk based prioritization based on operation profiles, based using relevant slices, and prioritization based on requirements. We have to see each of these five so that we can optimize a test suite. Optimizing test suite and enti, we want to select the important ones. Those important ones can be identified with the help of this prioritization techniques. First one, coverage based test case prioritization. What is coverage? To what extent the test case is satisfying the test requirements, that is called coverage. So based on the coverage of codes such as branch, statement, fault exposing capability, etc. So ఏమేం కవర్ చేస్తున్నాయి? అన్ని బ్రాంచెస్ని కవర్ చేస్తున్నాయా, అన్ని స్టేట్మెంట్స్ని కవర్ చేస్తున్నాయా, ఆర్ టు వాట్ ఎక్స్టెంట్ దిస్ టెస్ట్ కేస్ is exposing the faults. So for example, the test case that covers highest number of statements will be executed first. In this we have various aspects to consider. First one, total statement case prioritization, additional statement case prioritization. So whether it is covering all the statements and how best it is covering additional statements. Total statement case prioritization. So this is based on total number of statements covered. This counts the number of statements covered. So generally it is a random order if multiple test cases cover the same number of statements. So ikkada chudandi, we will see with an example here. Total number of statements covered. So for example, we have a test case sample input. మన ప్రోగ్రాంలో 9 స్టేట్మెంట్స్ ఉన్నాయి. For example, we have 9 statements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 statements in the column. We have 3 test cases, test case 1, test case 2, test case 3. అంటే sample input 1, sample input 2, sample input 3. For example, the sample input 1 is covering statement 1, statement 2, statement 7, 8, 9. అది ఎలా సార్ అంటే based on the conditions, some statements may be skipped. So this is covering how many statements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 statements. Test case 2, how many it is covering? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Test case 3, it is covering 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if we are asked to give priority for the test case, which test case we will give? Any ఎక్కువ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ కవర్ అవుతుందో దానికి మనం ప్రయారిటీ ఇస్తాం. టెస్ట్ కేస్ 2 కన్సిడర్ చేసుకుంటే ఇది 3 + 3 6 7 statements out of 9 కవర్ చేస్తుంది. సో వీ షుడ్ నాట్ ఇగ్నోర్ దిస్ షల్ బి గివెన్ హయ్యర్ ప్రయారిటీ. సో అందుకని టోటల్ స్టేట్మెంట్ కవరేజ్ తీసుకుంటే స్టేట్మెంట్ టెస్ట్ కేస్ 2ని ఫస్ట్ ప్రయారిటీ ఇస్తాం. తర్వాత ఏమి ఇస్తాము? విల్ గివ్ 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 స్టేట్మెంట్స్ని కవర్ చేస్తుంది కాబట్టి 1 ఇస్తాం. దీనికి లీస్ట్ ప్రయారిటీ ఇస్తాం. ఎందుకు? ఇట్ ఈస్ ఓన్లీ కవరింగ్ 4 స్టేట్మెంట్స్. దిస్ ఈస్ వన్ వే. If we consider total statement coverage, we'll take the order as 2, 1, 3. ఇది కాకుండా if we consider number of additional statements this test case is covering, అప్పుడు ఏ ఆర్డర్ తీసుకుంటాం చూడండి. First we will take the test case that covers maximum number of statements. We will consider the test case that covers maximum number of statements 2. తర్వాత ఏం తీసుకుంటామంటే ఇక్కడ మిగిలిన స్టేట్మెంట్స్ని ఎవరు కవర్ చేస్తారో వాళ్ళని తీసుకుంటాం. మిగిలిన స్టేట్మెంట్స్లో ఎక్కువ టెస్ట్ కేస్ ఏది కవర్ చేస్తుంది? టెస్ట్ కేస్ 3. టెస్ట్ కేస్ 1 is covering the same statements with test case 2. There is no point of taking test case 1 again at first. So అందుకనే here the priority will be 2, 3, 1. At this junction we can ignore test case 1 also. ఇక్కడ 1 ని ఇగ్నోర్ చేయొచ్చు కూడా. ఎందుకు? It is only covering the same set of statements which test case 2 is covering. Additional గా test case 3 ఒకటి కవర్ చేస్తుంది, ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్ 4 ని కవర్ చేస్తుంది. So the priority of the test cases in the test suite for additional statement coverage is 2, 3, 1. First test case 2 కి rank 1 ఇస్తాం, test case 3 కి rank 2 ఇస్తాం, test case 1 కి rank 3 ఇస్తాం. కానీ ఇక్కడ వచ్చేసరికి టోటల్ స్టేట్మెంట్ కవరేజ్ తీసుకుంటే test case 2, 1, 3 will be the order. This is how we consider total statement coverage prioritization, additional statement coverage prioritization. Then similarly we will also talk about total branch coverage prioritization, additional branch coverage prioritization. ఎన్ని బ్రాంచ్ని ఇఫ్ ఎల్స్ కండిషన్స్లో కానీ లూప్స్లోకి వచ్చేసరికి కానీ how many branches the test case is covering, so that will be considered. So entry into while, false, true, false, we might be having number of true false blocks in the corresponding statement, in the corresponding block of code. So test case 1 is covering 4 branches here, test case 2 is covering 3 branches here, test case 3 is covering 1, 2 branches here. Branch of code అంటే మన కండిషన్ బట్టి true అయినప్పుడు it is going to one branch of statements, false అయినప్పుడు it is going to another branch of statements. So అలాగా we might be having number of conditions in it. So total branch coverage, if you consider, the order will be 1, 2, 3. If it is the additional branch coverage, it will be 1, 3. Though it is covering 2 statements, కానీ ఒక్క కొత్తది కవర్ చేస్తుంది కాబట్టి 3 will be considered as the second, and the least priority will be given to test case 2. So అర్థమైందా? Total branch coverage, additional branch coverage. So we'll also talk about FEP, fault exposing potential, coverage based test case prioritization లో fault exposing potential. ఎన్ని ఎక్కువ ఫాల్ట్స్ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేసేదాన్ని బట్టి యువర్ టెస్ట్ కేస్ విల్ బి గివెన్ ప్రయారిటీ. టోటల్ ఫాల్ట్ ఎక్స్పోజింగ్ పొటెన్షియల్ prioritization, FEP. It is the ability of the test case to expose the fault. It not only on whether the test cases cover a faulty statement, but also on the probability that a fault in that statement will also cause a failure for the test case. It will consider faulty statement kaadu. In addition to that, if we ignore this, what is the probability of the failure? That also will be considered. That is called total fault exposing potential prioritization. So for example, FEP of a test case can be approximated like this. This is the procedure. Given a program P and we have a test suite T, create a number of mutants. Mutant and it is the variation of the given point. Okay. N and we'll consider number of variations of this, number of variations of the corresponding test case, N1, N2, N3, N4, and N. Mutant and variation for P, variation of the program P, noting which statement Sj and P contains each mutant. Statement Sj and P program lo ee corresponding statement change cheyadam valla kotta mutant vachindi. So mutant ante entante, for example, we have a program. In that program, we have modified the program by making one change in the program. Oka small statement martam valla kotta program tayarayindi. That is called the mutant of an existing one. అలాగా we might be creating number of mutants for a program P. So ఎందుకు noting which statement Sj in P contains each mutant. ఒక్కొక్క mutant లో ఒక స్టేట్మెంట్ చేంజ్ చేశాం. For each test case Ti belongs to T, execute each mutant version nk of P on Ti, noting whether Ti kills that mutant. Just leave it. So చూడండి. సో టెస్ట్ ఇప్పుడు ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేంజ్ ఏంటంటే టెస్ట్ కేసు కూడా మార్చి చూడాలి. టెస్ట్ కేస్ ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేంజ్ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేసిందా లేదా చూడాలి. సో మన టెస్ట్ కేస్ టిఐ ఆ మ్యూటెంట్ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేయటం అంటే కిల్ చేయటం. ఇట్ హాస్ కిల్డ్ దట్ మ్యూటెంట్ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ ఇట్ హాస్ ఐడెంటిఫైడ్ ది మ్యూటెంట్. సో వీ విల్ ఇఫ్ ద టెస్ట్ కేస్ ఈజ్ ఏబుల్ టు ఐడెంటిఫై దట్ మ్యూటెంట్, దెన్ that is a good test case. That shall be given priority, and that is covering the variants. So we will compute FEP as number of mutants of Sj killed by total number of mutants Sj. Total, for example, we have created 10 variants of the program by 10. మన టెస్ట్ కేసు ఈ 10ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేసింది అనుకోండి, 10 by 10. It is 1. That is a good test case. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మన టెస్ట్ కేస్ 5 వేరియంట్స్ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేసింది అనుకోండి, 5 by 2. ది ఎఫ్ఈపి ఆఫ్ ది కరస్పాండింగ్ టెస్ట్ కేస్ ఇస్ 0.5. అసలు ఏవి ఐడెంటిఫై చేయలేదు అనుకోండి, ఇట్ ఈస్ 0/10, దట్ ఈస్ ఈక్వల్ టు 0. ఇఫ్ టిఐ డస్ నాట్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ ఎనీ ఎస్జే, దెన్ ది రేషియో ఇస్ 0. అంటే స్టేట్మెంట్ 1 దగ్గర టెస్ట్ కేస్ 1 యొక్క ఎఫ్ఈపి 0.5 ఉంది, టెస్ట్ కేస్ 2 యొక్క ఎఫ్ఈపి 0.5. అంటే ఏంటి, ఈ 1ని వేరియంట్ చేసిన చోట అదే మనకున్న ఫార్ములా తోటి దిస్ టెస్ట్ కేస్ 1 హ్యాస్ ఐడెంటిఫైడ్ 50% ఆఫ్ ది టైమ్స్ ఆఫ్ వేరియంట్ 1, వేరియంట్ ఇన్ స్టేట్మెంట్ 1. టెస్ట్ కేస్ 2 0.4, టెస్ట్ కేస్ 3 0.3. అలాగా ప్రతి స్టేట్మెంట్ దగ్గర వీల్ ఐడెంటిఫై ది FEPs of each of the test case wherever changes are made. So we'll award the FEP values. The sum of all these values is 1.8, sum of all this is 3.11, sum of all this is 2.0. Now the FEP prioritization puts the test case order as 2, 3, 1. ఇక్కడ టెస్ట్ కేస్ 2 ఎక్కువ ఫాల్ట్స్ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేస్తుంది, అవార్డ్ వాల్యూ 3.1 ఉంది కాబట్టి we'll consider this as first. Test case 3, we'll take it as 2.0. This is second. Test case 1, we'll consider it as 1. Now it is 2, 3, 1. So the order of test cases is 2, 3, and 1. So based on what we have considered, fault exposing potential, FEP is calculated as total number of mutants killed by total number of mutants formed by varying the corresponding statement. ఇక్కడ స్టేట్మెంట్ 1 మాడిఫై చేయడం వల్ల వచ్చిన మ్యూటెంట్స్ని ఆ ఫార్ములాలో వేసి ఈ టెస్ట్ కేస్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయడం వల్ల ఎన్ని కిల్ చేసింది బై టోటల్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ మ్యూటెంట్స్, వి గాట్ 0.5. అలా అన్నిటికీ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసి నెక్స్ట్ రైట్. నెక్స్ట్ risk-based prioritization. So till now we have talked on coverage-based prioritization, total statement coverage, total branch coverage, fault exposing potential based coverage prioritization. Second one, the risk based prioritization. Here, we will prioritize the test cases based on some potential problems which may occur during the project. So we will consider risks. What is a risk? Risk in the sense, if we leave the corresponding issue, we might have a problem at the later point. That is called a risk. So well-defined process using risk analysis to highlight potential problem areas whose failures have adverse consequences. This is used to select the most crucial test. So we will calculate probability of occurrence by fault likelihood, or we'll calculate severity of impact by failure impact. So for with this we prepare a risk analysis table. We construct a risk analysis table using the above criteria. Then the results are ranked in the form of risk exposure. We'll compute risk exposure. For example, the potential risks could be like this: specification ambiguity, ఇచ్చిన ప్రాబ్లంలో కన్ఫ్యూషన్ ఉండొచ్చు, or else we might be having interface problems, or else the files may be corrupted, or else the databases may not be in order or synchronized, or unavailability of modules for integration. These could be some of the potential problems. We will list out them. We'll, for each of the problem, we'll give certain ID. The test manager or the tester, who he based on his experience and intuition, he gives values for these two: uncertainty factor and risk impact. So based on the values, we'll compute risk exposure, uncertainty factor into risk impact, that is equal to 6 here, 5 into 6. That in a scale of 1 to 10, we give the values. 6 into 4, 24, databases 8 into 7, 56, unavailability 9 into 10, 90. Now, the order of prioritization would be P4, sorry, P5, P4, P2, P3, P1. Risk exposure దేనికైతే ఎక్కువ ఉందో, that problem has highest risk. Highest risk. Now the test cases that target this corresponding risk shall be given higher priority. The test cases that target this corresponding risk shall be given higher priority. P fine based చేసుకొని మనం ఏదైతే టెస్ట్ కేసులు చేస్తామో, those are to be given higher priority. Then the test cases that target the problem P4 have to be given priority, and then the test cases that target P2. Then comes the test cases that target P3 file integration, and then P1. This is how we prioritize the test cases based on risk. So for that, we have problem ID, unique identification number. In that table of values, potential problem, that is the brief description of the problem. Uncertainty factor, that is the probability of occurrence of the problem 1 to 10. Severity of impact, severity values in a scale of 1 to 10. Risk exposure, the product of probability of occurrence and severity of impact. These are the two things. We have seen coverage based test case prioritization, statement coverage, branch coverage, and fault exposing potential based coverage prioritization. Risk based prioritization, we have computed the risk exposure based on the risk exposure table. Based on that, we have done. Then we'll talk on prioritization based on operational profiles. What is an operational profile? An operational profile is a set of tasks performed by the system and their probabilities of occurrence. Operational profile is a set of tasks performed by the system and their probabilities of occurrence. The important functionalities that are in use by the customer. An operation profile refers to the important functionality that is in use by the customer. Whichever property is important that the customer generally uses, that is considered as the operational profile. For example, in the calculator, the operation profile would be performing addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, etc. 1 minute, someone has joined. Now, here what is the advantage here? Whichever functionality is in use by the customer, that will be tested. We will only identify the test cases for the functionalities that are being used by the customer. Now, The testers decide on the number of test cases, keeping in view the cost and resource constraints. Operation profile says that. Then the next one, prioritization using relevant slices. What is a slice? Slice is a part of the program or extraction of the program. We'll see what is that. Slicing, we'll see what is the slicing here. So for example, the initial program is like this: to find and display sum of the numbers from 1 to n and the product of numbers from 1 to n. And sum equal is a product equal for I equal to 1 to n. Sum equal to sum plus I, product equal product into I, write sum, write product. This is the program segment. We can ఇక్కడ ఇది రెండు చేస్తుంది, ఒకటి సమ్ ఒకటి ప్రోడక్ట్. సమ్ వరకు మనం రాస్తే ప్రోగ్రామ్ని, దట్ ఈస్ ది స్లైస్ ఫర్ సమ్. మిగతా ప్రాపర్టీస్ అన్నీ ఉండి సమ్ వరకు ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ చేస్తే ఒక స్లైస్. ప్రోడక్ట్ వరకు ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ చేసి రాసాము, సారీ ఇక్కడ ఇది ప్రోడక్ట్ అండి, సారీ ప్రోడక్ట్ వరకు ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ చేసి రాసాము, దట్ ఈస్ ది స్లైస్ ఫర్ ప్రోడక్ట్. టూ థింగ్స్, స్లైస్ ఫర్ సమ్, స్లైస్ ఫర్ ప్రోడక్ట్. మన ప్రోగ్రాంలో టుమారో ఇఫ్ we are testing only for sum, it is enough for me to write the test cases to identify only sum. If we are testing the product, it will be sufficient for me to write the test cases for product. That is how we prioritize the test cases based on slicing. Okay. So let us see one more. Begin, read x comma y, total 0.0, sum equal to 0.0. If x is less than equal to 1, sum is equal to y. Else read z, total equal to x into y, and write total comma sum. And here we will create, we are preparing a slice based on the variable z. Z ని ఎక్కడ యూస్ చేస్తున్నామో దాని ఒక స్లైస్ తయారు చేస్తాం. జెడ్ యూస్ చేస్తుంది ఇక్కడ, రీడ్ జెడ్ దగ్గర యూస్ చేస్తాం. ఎల్స్ రీడ్ జెడ్ వాడుతున్నాము. జెడ్ రీడ్ చేయాలంటే ఏంటి, వాట్ ఈస్ ది కండిషన్, ఎక్స్ ఈస్ లెస్ దాన్ 1. సో ఇఫ్ ఎక్స్ ఈస్ లెస్ దాన్ 1, రీడ్ జెడ్. ఎక్స్ కావాలంటే ఎక్స్ని రీడ్ చేసుకోవాలి కదా, ఎక్స్తో పాటు వై కూడా వస్తుంది కాబట్టి రీడ్ ఎక్స్ కామా వై. Syntactically it should be correct, and we are going to extract the relevant statements for the corresponding variable z. Only relevant statements for the corresponding variable z anamata. Begin, read x comma y. If x is less than or equal to n, 1, then read z. x వరకు కన్సిడర్ చేసుకున్నాం అనుకోండి క్రైటీరియా 2లో 9 comma x అంటే స్టేట్మెంట్ 9 x, స్టేట్మెంట్ 9 దగ్గర x ఉంది కాబట్టి 9 comma x అన్నాం. ఇక్కడ 12 z అంటున్నాం. సారీ up to 12. Okay, x consider. Begin, read x comma y, and we have never used the x here as the output. We have never used x as the output, so this is it. Total తీసుకున్నాం అనుకోండి. To compute total we need x comma y. For that we need to read x comma y. Read x comma y, and then we need to check whether it is less than or equal to 1, then x comma y. So based on 3 different criteria, we have prepared 3 slices. Now we will identify the test cases that are appropriate for this slice, for this slice, and for this slice. Running the test suite for every change in the software makes regression testing a time-consuming process. For that, the slicing technique is introduced. Find the portion of software. Find the portion of software which has been affected with the change in the software, so that we can prioritize the test cases based on this information. Set of statements executed under a test case is called execution slice. We have a definition here. The set of statements executed under a test case is called execution slice. Read basic and employee ID. For example, gross equal to 0, basic is greater than 5,000, or employee is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. We compute DA is equal to basic into 15 by 100. Gross is equal to basic plus DA. Print gross, comma employee ID, then we will stop the program. So for the first test case, we'll take basic as 8,000 rupees, employee ID as 100. Gross, uh, gross will be the output, gross will be the output, and employee ID is the output. So 8,000 100 input ఇచ్చాం అనుకోండి, 10,400 100. T2 2000 ఇన్పుట్ ఇచ్చి 20 ఇన్పుట్ ఇచ్చామనుకోండి, 2300 గ్రాస్ ఈక్వల్ టు 2300 అండ్ ఎంప్లాయీ ఐడి ఇస్ 20. నౌ T3 1000 ఇచ్చాం బేసిక్, ఎంప్లాయీ ఐడి 0 ఇచ్చాము, ద అవుట్పుట్ ఇస్ 13,000 అండ్ 0. మనము what is the execution slice here? What is the part of program being executed? We are not going into S4 and S5 at any cost, avuna? Sorry. We are not going into S7 and S8, avuna? We are only going into S4 and S5 because R is there. R రెండిట్లో ఏదో ఒక ట్రూ అయితే దీనిలోకి వెళ్తున్నాం. ప్రతి టెస్ట్ కేసు కూడా రెండిట్లో ఏదో ఒక ట్రూ అయ్యేలాగానే ఉంది ఇక్కడ. Now we have changed the statement S3. ఇక్కడ ఆర్ తీసేసి అండ్ పెట్టాం. అండ్ పెడితే T1 రన్ చేసాం అనుకోండి, విచ్ ఈస్ మోస్ట్ ఎఫెక్టెడ్? T1 T2 T3 మూడు ఎఫెక్ట్ అవుతాయి అండ్ కాబట్టి. ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ ఇన్ టు greater than T1 basic is greater than 5,000 and employee is greater than 0. Next set of statements will be executed. T2 is equal to 2000 and next set of ఇందాక అయింది కాకుండా కొత్త స్టేట్మెంట్స్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతాయి. అండ్ ఇచ్చాం కాబట్టి కొత్త బ్లాక్ మూడు రీరన్ అవుతాయి, మూడు కొత్త అవుట్పుట్స్ వస్తున్నాయి మనకి. న్యూ బ్లాక్ ఆఫ్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ విల్ బి ఎగ్జిక్యూటెడ్ ఫర్ ఆల్ ది 3 టెస్ట్ కేసెస్. నౌ ఇఫ్ we modify S7, DA is equal to basic into 15/100 and modify చేస్తే కనుక which test case is rerun here? ఇది ఒక్కటే రీరన్ అవుతుంది T2. ఎందుకు? బేసిక్ ఈజ్ లెస్ దాన్ 5,000, 2,000 ఉంది, ఇది ఒకటి 20 ఉంది, ఎంప్లాయీ ఐడి ఇస్ గ్రేటర్ దాన్ 20. ఓన్లీ దిస్ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఈస్ రీరన్. సో ఎక్కడ చేంజ్ చేసామో ఐడెంటిఫై చేసుకొని దానికి ప్రయారిటీ ఇస్తే నెక్స్ట్ టైం ఆ ఒక్క టెస్ట్ కేసు రన్ చేస్తే సరిపోతుంది. సో ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్ చేంజ్ చేసినప్పుడు వాట్ ఈస్ ది టెస్ట్ కేస్ బీయింగ్ ఎఫెక్టెడ్ హియర్? T2. సో టుమారో when we are developing a regression test suite, go with T2 at first. That will be the conclusion. So execution slices may be computed at the statement level or even at the function level. We can consider the statement and even the function. So instead of determining which program statements are executed under which test case, we may simply determine which functions or modules are invoked under each test case. In spite of statements, we can also consider the functions also. Now the new program would be on a test case only if the modified module was invoked during the original program's execution. Then the other one, using relevant slice, will till now we have seen the parts of the program that are extracted. Sometimes, not sometimes, during the program execution also, the program might be changed dynamically. That is called dynamic slice. A set of statements executed under a test case having an effect on the program output is called the dynamic slice of the program with respect to the output variables. So for example, the program read AB, sum equal to 0, I equal to 0, if A equal to 0, print B, sum equal to sum plus B. Else if B equal to 0, print A, sum equal to sum plus A. Else sum equal to A plus B plus sum, I equal to 25, print I and F. So let us give the input A equal to 0, B equal to 4. What is the output? A equal to 0 is given. If A equal to 0, what will happen? Print B. B will be printed. B and ichamu 4 ichamu. Sum equal to sum plus B. Sum equal to sum plus B. Sum is initially 0. B equal to 4. 0 plus 4, that is equal to 4. 4 print అయింది. 4 Bలో 4 వెళ్తుంది, బయటకు వచ్చేసి సమ్ ఈక్వల్ టు 4 డిస్ప్లే అవుతుంది. టెస్ట్ కేస్ 2 we have given 67 as A, B 0 ఇచ్చాం. Aలో 67, Bలో 0 ఇచ్చాం. A equal to 0 na? Kaadu. Else if B equal to 0 na? Avunu. Now we'll print A. 67 will be printed. 0 plus 67. 67 will be there in the sum. And finally print sum 67. Test case 3, A equal 23, B equal 23. A equal to 0 na? Kaadu. B equal to 0 na? Kaadu. It goes to else. Sum equal to 23 plus 23. 46. Plus initially it is 0. 46 will be displayed. 46 will be displayed, and we have I equal to 25. Print I. 25 also will be displayed at later part. Printf sum. ఇప్పుడు if we extract this S1, if we perform a slice for the sum S1, S2 and S10 dynamically ఎక్కడికి వెళ్తుంది sum ఇప్పుడు కంప్యూట్ అవుతుంది A, B ఇస్తే కనుక S10 is equal to sum equal to A plus B plus sum. So each time we might not run T3. We might not run. It will be taken care of dynamically. That is the dynamic slicing during runtime. Next technique, prioritization based on requirements, PORT. Prioritization based on requirement, port anta. So based on the requirements intensity, we will prioritize the test case. So if the requirement customer assigned priority of requirements are analyzed to prioritize the requirements. The test cases corresponding to important and critical requirements are given more weight as compared to others. Critical requirements, which requirements are more important, which are not to be ignored, those shall be the test cases designed for that requirements have to be given higher priority. Requirements కూడా మనం ranking ఇస్తాం initially in the requirements analysis part. If we observe, we will prioritize the requirements. For each of the requirements, we might be designing the test cases. Those test cases have to be prioritized based on the ranks of the requirements. So we'll consider 4 factors such as customer assigned priority of requirements. So we'll assign in scale of 1 to 10. Higher the number, higher the priority. Requirement volatility, rating based on frequency of change of a requirement. Higher the requirement change, higher the priority. And then third one, developer perceived implementation complexity. The developer gives more weight to a requirement which he thinks is difficult to implement. Fault proneness of requirements experienced from the previous versions of the system. More bugs in the previous version is implied with more weight in the current version. FEV, fault or prioritization factor value is computed. PFVI is equal to FVIJ into FWIJ, where FVIJ is equal to factor value in the value of the factor J corresponding to the requirement I. FWJ is equal to factor weight is the weight given to the factor J. None. We have prioritized the test suite. Now we have to measure the effectiveness of the prioritized test suite, how good it is. For that, we will compute AFPD, average percentage of faults detected. APFD, it is APFD, average percentage of faults detected. It measures the weighted average of the percentage of faults detected during the execution of the test suite. So it ranges from 0 to 100, where a higher value of means a faster fault detection rate. This is computed as 1 minus TF1 plus TF2 and so on TFM by NM plus 1 by 2N. So, for example, we have test cases 1 to 10, faults 1 to 10. F1 is identified by the test case 5 at first. F2 is identified by test case 2 at first. F3 is identified by test case 1 at first. F4 is identified by test case 6 at first. F5 is identified by test case 1 at first. Anukunte ilaga. F8 is identified by test case 2 at first. F10 is identified by test case 3 at first. Ila anukunte we will compute AFPD as 1 minus 5 2 1 ఇచ్చాం. 5 plus 2 plus 1 plus 6 ఇచ్చాం. 5 ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది? 5. 2 ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది? ఇక్కడ T2. 3 ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది? ఇక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది. 6 ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది? హియర్ వి గాట్ ఇట్ ఫ్రమ్ 6. 5 ఎక్కడ 1 ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది? ఇక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది. సో 5, first 5 is obtained from here, F1. F1 is identified at first by the test case 5. Andukani we have put 5 here. Next, why we have given 2 here? Fault 2 is identified by test case 2. Next, test case 3, fault 3 is identified by test case 1. So that is why it is given 1. So 5 plus 2 plus 1 and so on. By how many faults? 10. How many test cases? 10. Plus 1 by 2 into 20. 2 into 10. So this is given as 0.7. So APFD is average percentage of faults detected, APFD, of this corresponding test suit T1, T2, T3 and so on up to Tn is 0.7. So what are the concerns here? APFD did not consider the severity level of bugs. The cost of executing test cases in the test suite is not considered. So we will modify it. So cost cognizant APFDC. Here also we will consider the cost of each of the test case. Then it will be cost concern or cost cognizant. Here it measures the unit of fault severity detected per unit test case cost. So this is how we measure the effectiveness of the prioritized test suite using APFD and APFDC. That incurs cost of each test case also. Now we have seen in this test suite management part the purpose of prioritization, why we need to prioritize. We have seen general 2 types of prioritization: general test case prioritization, version specific test case prioritization. We have seen prioritization based on coverage, based on risks, based on relevant slices. We computed for prioritization factor value PFD. The average percentage of faults detected, APFD, identifies the thing. APFDC, which is the fault severity detected per unit test case cost. So this is with respect to test suite management. This is with respect to the test suite management.